Hello, everybody. I hope you're having a good evening. Welcome to our 6 o'clock webinar. My name is Anika, and I have with me Michelle. We're both teachers in Myes. So maybe we can first begin by introducing ourselves. Do you want to go first, Michelle?
Sure. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another webinar. I am Michelle. If you've been here before, you might recognize my voice. You have to excuse me for not putting on my camera today, but the connection is a bit unstable. And to maintain the quality of the audio, I have turned my camera off. Um, my name is Michelle, like I've mentioned already. I am a teacher in Milano, Meravili with Anika, and I'm originally from Pakistan.
Right. And I am Anika. I'm originally from Bangladesh. So as I mentioned earlier, I'm a colleague of Michelle in Milan. And I have been living in Italy for about 6 years now. So let us know about yourselves. Just say hi and where you're from and which school you're from. That would be interesting to know if you're from Milan or some other places. Okay. So today we are talking about meeting new people. All right. So do you meet a lot of people, a lot of new people, Michelle?
Well, I'm not these days, obviously, but because of our job, we're both teachers, we tend to meet new people almost every day. When we're working, we very often run into someone new, and it's one of the perks of our jobs, according to me, because you get to interact with so many different people from so many different walks of life. So it can be really interesting and really fascinating.
I agree with you 100%. Like meeting a lot of new students, it's always nice.
Mm-hmm.
And here we are, we're meeting some new people here as well. So we have Viviana from
Absolutely.
Milan. Welcome. Welcome, Christina. Good evening to you too. And we have Sonia from Bergamo. Welcome, everybody. Great. So what about you guys? Do you meet new people really often for your job or for some other purposes? In normal circumstances, do you meet a lot of new people?
Or maybe you just really enjoy meeting new people, right?
Hmm.
You're someone
Yeah.
who really enjoys meeting new people, so you go out of your way to go to events or occasions where you get to interact with different people, you get to meet new people.
Yeah. Great. So Viviana is from Merville School and Serena is from Pescara. Nice. Oh, we have Adrian with us as well. Hi, Adrian. Uh,
Hello, Adrian. Welcome to our focus activity. We're so happy you can join us,
yeah.
and we're so happy we can entertain you.
Yeah. We have Filippo here as well from Apulia, but I study in Modena. Okay, nice. So let's get started. So today, this is what we're going to talk about. So Michelle, do you want to read out you want to take this
Sure.
one?
In this focus activity, initiating conversation, so we're going to talk about how you can start a conversation. What are the phrases you can use when you meet someone for the first time and start talking to them, talking with new people? What do you talk to new people about? And asking questions using different verb tenses. So when you meet someone new, you can have several questions about what they do currently, about what they did in the past, or maybe where they lived in the past. So the tenses will change depending on the context and the questions, the answers you are looking for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in my opinion, it's a very useful lesson because if you're meeting someone new, you want to ask the right questions in the right way.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. We have
Oh,
Angela from Bergamo. Hello, Angela. We have Filippo who says, these days I am meeting lots of people at home. This means nobody.
nice,
I
nice
love this
sarcasm
one.
there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's my favorite kind of humor. And Aline says, hi, everybody. I'm Aline from Milan. Hello. Hope you're doing well.
Hi, Elaine. I remember you from Montenegro. So we can move on to our first task here
Mm-hmm.
about meeting new people. So these are really common questions we ask when you're meeting new people. And in this exercise, you'll have to complete the questions with the right words. So if you know the answers, please write down the number and the words in it. Okay. And if you're not sure about one of them, move on to the next one. You can answer whichever you know or you think you know. Okay. So the questions are who, the last new person you, number two, where, you meet them. Number three, have you them again? What you talk about? Oh, I may have given you a wrong information. These are not questions you ask a new person, but we are just going to discuss this question.
Yeah, absolutely. We're just going to talk about where you meet new people
Yeah.
and the kind of conversations you have with them. So while you guys send us the answers, we are going to do a quick refresher on question words and what
Mhm.
they mean, right? So let's start with the first one we have here, which is who. Who, as we know, is for a person. Okay. Next we have
Mm-hmm.
where. Where, as we know, is for place or location.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Why is for reason.
Okay.
What is for things, information. Which which is for choice. Okay, one, two, three, four, five. Okay, any ones I've missed?
I think that's it. I
Okay, and
think
don't forget
that's all we have
how
here.
is for manner. How is for manner, condition, and quality. Okay, we have some great answers coming in.
Yeah, great. So we have here, okay, Elaine says, who did the last person? Well, you have to be careful there a bit with the
Mm,
auxiliary verb. So you don't always use, so you have two options. You can either use did or a verb to be.
mm. And
So
Filippo says it's the verb to be.
very good. Who was the last person you met? Okay, so let's reveal the answer here. Oh, we don't have the answer. I'm sorry. So, if you're using the verb to be, you're absolutely right. Who was the last person you met? So, the reason we don't use did is because your verb is meet.
Mm-hmm.
So, for verb to be, you use was or were. For any other verb, you use did. Okay, who was the last person you saw or what was the last meal you ate? Things
Mm.
like that. All right. So good job, Sonia. Um, so sorry, Angela. It was who was. So I
Mm-hmm.
think. All right. So I will write down the correct answer here. just to avoid any confusion. Who was the last person you met? Okay, so let's talk about it. Who was the last new person you met?
I actually don't remember. I would go ahead and say a few students in the webinar.
Mm-hmm.
They're probably the last people I met, the last few people I met. But
Yeah.
in person, I honestly don't remember. It's been a while.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's the same for me. Must have been a student.
Yeah, definitely must have been a student.
Yeah. Number two. So, I'm checking for any answers from you guys. So, number two, Angela. Oh, right. So, you're right. If you're saying that for number two, Angela, where did you meet them?
Mm-hmm.
Mm, so, very good,
Fantastic.
Sonia, as well. Yeah. So, I'm going to write down that as well. So, where did you meet them?
Mm-hmm.
For example, Michelle was just saying that she met some new students in the webinars and in the school when she saw them face to face. So also feel free to share about yourselves. Who was the last person that you met and where you met them? Oh, very good. Number three, we have some answers here. Have you met them again? Great. So have you met? Who in some present perfect here. We're
Mm-hmm.
using the past participle of the verb. Great.
Okay, number four.
Yeah.
So number four, what have you talked about or what did you talk about? I would say what did you talk about?
Absolutely.
Because we're constructing a past simple question, and the
Hmm.
past simple question has a simple formula, right? We call it
Hmm.
the quasi formula, which basically means you take the question word, so question word plus auxiliary verb plus subject plus infinitive verb. So if you look at this formula and you talk about your question, we would say what is a question word, did is the auxiliary verb, you is the subject, and talk is the infinitive verb. So what did you talk about? We wouldn't put have over there because when you use have, you talk about situations which are happening in the present simple. For example, do you have your car keys? I'm asking you a question about the current situation.
Okay. So, well, I think that's a very difficult question for us to answer because we often talk about a lot of things with students, don't we? So if you ask
Absolutely.
us,
We talk
what did you
about
talk about?
everything.
Yeah. So I am curious about you guys. Please tell us about the last person that you met, um, and where you met them and what you talked about. So Adrian here says the last person I met was at the bakery. Interesting. So bakery is a place where they sell bread and sweets.
hmm
So he met a baker or a person at the bakery.
Give us more details, Adrian. Who was this person? Was it a pleasant interaction? Did they cough on you? What's the situation?
Yeah. And what did you talk about? Right.
Hmm.
So it takes a bit of time for us to receive the answers from you guys. So keep them coming, keep writing, and we can just go ahead with the next task, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm, so we're going to talk about some common phrases that we use when meeting new people. Okay. So these are really common ones. Mm, so do you want to take this one, Michelle?
Sure. So these are phrases that we would use very commonly when you meet someone new. First, of course, nice to meet you. The first time you meet someone, you are introduced to them. The polite thing to do is to say nice to meet you, right? If
Mm-hmm.
you know them, if you have a mutual friend in common. So you may not have met this person, but your friends or colleagues have spoken about this person. In that situation, you can say, I've heard a lot about you, right? When you've heard about this person, um, next, what brings you here? Obviously, you wouldn't ask someone who you meet in an English school or why they're there because they're obviously there to learn English. But perhaps you meet someone in a networking at a networking event. In that situation, you could ask them, "What brings you here? Where are you from?" This is a pretty common question, especially in today's globalized world. You meet someone, they don't look and sound like a local, so people usually ask, "Where are you from?" And the last one, have we met before? So this is a bit controversial, right? Because if you say, have we met before, it means you don't remember the first time you met them. But if there's someone you met in passing or they have a very familiar face, you can say, have we met before? And then we
Yeah.
have Adrian who says, they tried to sell him the whole store for one, but at the end, he only bought 2 loaves of bread and some brioche. Fantastic work, Adrian.
All right. Great. And then Sonia here says the last person I met was a young girl with her dog down the street. So I think it's a typo. With is with WITH. So maybe a young girl walking her dog. Maybe.
Mm.
Yeah. So a girl walking her dog down the street.
Felipe says, the last person I met was a woman that who works, it depends if it's still open. So who works in a flower shop because I ordered the Laurel crown for my bachelor degree.
Hmm.
Okay, so we would say I ordered the Laurel crown for my graduation,
Yeah.
right? Because your degree is the whole 3 years. It is the piece of paper that you have. But the day that you get your degree is called the day you graduate, right? Graduation day. So we would say a laurel crown for my graduation.
Yeah. Well, that's nice. Okay. So, anyone else want to share about your last meeting, the last time you met a person? Feel free to still keep on writing. So, in the meantime, maybe we can discuss how we respond to these phrases that we have looked at. So,
Mm.
the first one that Michelle told us about nice to meet you, we would respond to it by saying, repeating the same thing, and then too. Nice to meet you too.
Mm.
All
Right,
right.
that's an interesting point to make. So whenever you share an experience with someone, for example, I eat spicy food, and Anika can say, I eat spicy food too. So whenever you share an experience with someone and you want to emphasize that, you can use the word too.
Yeah. And so maybe you guys can tell us how you would respond. What could be some possible response to these phrases? Okay, so give it a try. Let's see. So you just like the first one we did together. Nice to meet you too. Even if it may not be nice to meet someone, but it's good to be polite.
Yep, it's always good to be polite. So even if it's not nice to meet them.
Yeah.
Okay, Adrian is abandoning us.
It was nice having you here. Bye,
Thanks for the
Adrian.
company, Adrian. Enjoy your chores.
Hey. So let's talk about the next one. I've heard a lot about you. There could be so many possible answers. What would you guys
Sure. What you shouldn't say is, I haven't heard anything about you.
say? That's one possibility.
Yeah, that's what you shouldn't say.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's what you shouldn't say. It's a bad idea.
But one common phrase, right, is when someone says, I've heard a lot about you, I respond, all good things, I hope.
Yeah, that's a good one. All good things, I hope. I'm gonna write that down. Yeah. Or probably you could say, don't believe everything you heard.
Right, so
But that's,
again, this, and Angela says, same. I imagine that is a typo. Same about you. Well, again, this will depend on the kind of relationship you have with this person, right? All good things, I hope, is a pretty formal way. It's not very informal. You're still being very polite. And like Anika said, don't believe everything you heard, you hear, is informal. It's a joke.
yeah, it's not very serious.
Right. So it depends on the kind of setting you are, where you are. Are you at a party? Are you in the office? Are you at a bar? It changes.
Yeah. Also, it depends on your relationship with the person.
Yeah, or the person in being, or the person introducing you guys.
Yeah, exactly. Um, so yeah, keep in mind that the last one is a joke. It's not really serious. And then we have what brings you here. I love this expression because it's kind of like it's polite. Like in English, you would never say why are you here. It's very
Sure.
direct. Like why are you here? Like oh sorry, you shouldn't be here maybe. So instead, what brings you here is formal and nice way, polite way to ask what the person is doing, whether they're here for work or pleasure. So, what would you say to this?
Um, I would say just the reason why I'm here, for example, oh, I study here, or I'm work here, or I'm here to network. Whatever the reason is, it's a pretty straightforward question, but
Yeah,
it's the politeness of it that matters.
exactly. So, so yeah, a lot of us have moved cities. So, for example, sometimes we move for cities for work. So, whatever reason, I'm here for work or I work here, whatever. And so, what would you guys say to where are you from? So, this is really common, very straightforward. And I think many of you guys already mentioned this. Someone is from Parma, from Bologna.
Hmm.
Right. So maybe we can skip ahead to the next one instead. Have
Yep,
we met before?
yep. If you have, you would say, yes, we have. We met at XYZ event. And if you haven't, you could just say, no, I don't think we have.
Yeah.
Okay,
Some people can use it as an excuse sometimes, an excuse to talk to someone. It may not be always true.
Yeah, that is very annoying. I do not appreciate that. When
I
people
know.
go, when people approach you in at a location wherever you are in a public space, and then they ask you, "Have we met before?" It's like, no, please.
Not a very genuine, sometimes, not a very genuine
Right,
question. But sometimes
absolutely.
it is.
Yeah, it depends on the context, and mostly it can tend to be a pickup line.
That's what I was thinking about. What is a pickup line,
Absolutely.
Michelle?
Well, now that you've asked, a pickup line is a line you use to approach someone romantically, right? If you've never met this person before, you can't just go up and say, "Hi, I'm Michelle. Nice to meet you." You need, I suppose, you need a an informal joke to break the ice. So you have pickup lines, and a
Yes.
very famous pickup line is, "Oh, you're did you fall from? Did it hurt when you fell from heaven?"
Oh, yes, because you're an angel.
Yeah, yeah. So awkward when people use
Yeah.
that line.
Some of them are very silly,
Some of them are
very
very
cheesy.
silly. Unfortunately, this is true, and I usually just burst out laughing. I have no poker face when it comes to that.
Right. Yeah, I think I prefer have we met before over some other cheesy lines.
Sure, sure. It's the least offensive.
Hmm. So we have some answers here.
We
Um,
do.
okay, so I want see you. So Angela, is this an answer to one of the questions, or is it something you're saying to Michelle? Oh, right. Sorry, I missed some of the comments. So Elaine said something before that.
Mm-hmm.
I heard so much about you. Yeah, you could also say that um, to the last question. So some of these questions are like have many answers, many possible ways to respond to. So Vladimir says, "I'm not sure." Yeah, possible. If you're not sure, or maybe you don't remember, just say, "I'm not sure." Um, oh, hi. So Vladimir is from Bologna. Good to know. And Angela says, one possible answer could be, I don't think so, but it's possible. So when you talk about don't think, you must have an object. I don't think so.
Sorry,
I don't think so.
but
Or
it's
so.
possible, right?
Yeah.
That's for the last one. Okay, and I want to see you is for number three. Okay, so usually in the English language, we are not forward. The language is not a forward language. It's not very direct. So unless you have a relationship with this person, you
Hmm.
usually don't say, "I wanted to see you." You would say maybe, "I wanted to meet you." That would be more formal.
Hmm.
But if someone asks you the question, "What brings you here?" Um, the context will probably be different. You probably won't be sitting in an interview. You probably won't be meeting one on one, because if you meet someone one on one, they probably already know why you're there, if that makes sense to you. So usually this question comes from someone who doesn't know why you're there. So in that situation, to say, "I wanted to see you," can come across as a bit creepy.
Too
That's just my
direct. Yeah.
that's just my take on it. What do you think, Anika?
Yeah, definitely. Sometimes English can be if you use some specific words, it can sound very direct and probably a little bit offensive, even. So,
Yeah.
want is one of these words that you want to be really careful about. So, instead, a better expression to use is would like to, for example. So, if
Mm.
you're in a shop and you'd like to buy a pair of shoes, You don't just say, I want those shoes. That's bad idea. Say, I would like to buy those shoes. Right.
Absolutely. Or even at a bar, if you order a coffee, I know in Italian you're very straightforward. You just say one coffee, please, and
Uh-huh.
that's it. But we don't do that in English. We like to be polite. We could say, I'd like a coffee, or may I please have a coffee.
Hmm.
We preface it, and we try to make it as soft as possible.
Yes. Also, from my experience, I think in English, the more words you use, the more uh, polite it becomes. Because we don't have the formal version of you, so we
Mm,
just make it indirect. So we don't usually say, where is the bank? It's too direct. Can you tell me where the bank is? Or do you know where the bank is? So we use more words to make it more polite.
absolutely.
More indirect means more polite. So that's something to remember when you meet a new person. So perhaps we can move on to our next task. What do you think, Michelle?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, what to talk about when you meet a new person? Sometimes I find myself at a loss when I talk to a new person, but well, number one, what do you like to talk about when you meet a new person? So, you guys watch who are watching, uh, please type up your answers. Perhaps we have more questions here. Maybe we can show all of them all together. So,
Mm-hmm.
what do you like to talk about when you meet a new person? What are some good questions to ask? So, for those of you watching, tell us some topics that you prefer to talk about, and maybe some topics that you prefer to avoid talking about. Right.
What do you like to
So,
talk
remember,
about,
we're talking about a new person.
Anika?
Well, so for me personally, I prefer to talk about something general, just
Mm-hmm.
to keep things not to keep things safe. Yeah. So, for
Right.
example, yeah,
Politics and
weather.
religion.
Yeah, I would avoid politics and religion definitely. So weather could be a very common topic,
Yes.
but I sometimes feel like weather can be a conversation killer. Like it gets really boring and people are like, ah, bye.
Yeah, so.
Yeah. Or
Um,
maybe about the person, I would probably ask
yeah.
questions about where they're from or things like that.
Hmm.
What about you, Michelle? What's your favorite topic to talk about when you meet
Um,
someone new?
I usually try to get to know the person when I meet them. So, of course, we talk about the weather. It's too hot, it's too cold, because, it's never perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And hobbies, I find that is a good generic topic. You
Yeah,
can
good
talk
one.
about, right, so hobbies, do you like reading? Do you like playing sports? Do you like watching movies? And once you start asking about hobbies, you can dive deeper and ask more specific questions. For example, do you play sports? Yes, I play sports. Oh, what kind of sports do you play? I play football. Oh, what position do you play?
Hmm.
So I think hobbies are a good conversation starter. And also, I think one of the mistakes people make when they have a conversation with someone is that they are
Mhm.
more focused on giving answers than they are in getting answers.
Oh, hey, that's true.
So if you ask someone like questions about themselves, about what they do, about their jobs, whatever, I think
Mhm.
that it encourages people to talk, to open up
Mhm.
more, because they see, okay, this person is genuinely interested in what I have to say.
That's true. Yeah. So we have good answers here, Angela. Where do you live? That's a really
Straight
good
for the
one.
kill. Straight for the
Yeah, I
kill.
like.
Do you
That's a
though?
good one.
I feel that could be a rude question.
Where do you live? Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because just um, you can ask someone, for example, if you meet on vacation,
Uh-huh.
sure, where do you live, right? But if you
Hmm.
live in the same city and people ask you, where do you live? It comes across as a bit creepy because I haven't met you before.
Really?
I,
Okay.
okay, so maybe I'm different.
Oh no, I mean I was thinking about like meeting at in work context, but okay, depends on who is asking. Okay, I
Right.
understand. Like,
But even work related, the first time you
mhm.
meet someone, I don't think you need to ask them where they live because it's so irrelevant and it's a
Okay,
bit creepy. But I know this is something Italians do, and it's completely normal in the Italian culture. But
right.
first, um, my first
Hmm.
6 months here,
Yeah.
everyone I met would ask me, "Where do you live?" And it concerned me. Are these people stalkers? Obviously, they
Really?
were not.
Oh, wow, interesting.
But I just think it's irrelevant, so I
All
personally don't
right.
ask.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's okay for you, and I think that's important for us to also
Hmm.
realize that different people have different boundaries.
Right. Yeah, that's true. It always depends on personality. Great. So Sonia has another one. That's a good question, but
Mm,
normally you say, "What do you do for a living?" Not in your
mm.
life. What do you do for a living?
What you do for your life in your life can come across as um, a bit rude.
Right. Hmm. Right. So yeah, again, I think it depends on personality.
Mm,
So yeah, I
absolutely.
sometimes, yeah, I think I would ask someone just because it opens up some different topics to talk about, you know. So for example, a new person I met once was a friend of a friend. We were having an aperitivo together, and I was like, "Oh, so what do you do for a living?" And then a lot of other conversation came out. So I think it depends on which context you meet the person or something. Also, if you're comfortable with the question yourself.
Sure. I think what do you do for a living is a pretty I don't think that's offensive at all. But what do you do in your life could be offensive.
Right.
Right?
Uh,
Okay.
all right.
Moving on, Valdemar. He says it's very interesting to meet new people. Katerina says, how do you like spending your free time? What do you prefer to do? Fantastic. I would ask these questions. Katrina says, are you a student or do you work? Yup. Good question. Okay. Serena says, I would like to talk about gluten-free
Oh,
food because I'm celiac and she wants to know about new places to visit. Yeah, that's a good topic.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a great way to build a bond with someone. You tell them a little bit about yourself, ask them for some advice.
Hmm.
What?
Absolutely. For example, I sometimes talk about being pescatarian, and I'm a newly pescatarian.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's something that I would definitely talk about.
Yeah, yeah,
Appropriate.
absolutely. What is your hobby? Do you like football? Fantastic. Have you got any pets?
Hmm.
I prefer speaking about his origins, countries, or usual passions. I don't answer about political opinions, for example. Fantastic. Except I don't ask. I don't
Yeah,
ask.
politics and religion are really risky.
Absolutely. I agree. Serena also says, do you have any pets? Yup, that's a great question. How do you feel in this city? A very deep question. Fantastic.
Yeah. Or very commonly, you can say, "How do you find this city?
Mm-hmm.
How do you find?" And oh, Sonia here says, "Have you?" Well, the correct, grammatically correct question would be, "Do you have?" Right? So, have here is not an auxiliary, it's the main verb. So, when have is a main verb, you need another auxiliary. So do you have, just like, do you have any pets?
Yes,
So
absolutely.
the
But
grammar is correct, but would you ask this question to?
right, no.
Yeah, I'm always careful not to ask this one. I avoid asking this question. So I don't know,
Definitely.
maybe some people are okay with it.
Yeah, I think some people could be okay with it, but I think my policy generally is
Mhm.
to avoid anything that's too personal the first time you meet someone,
Sure,
right?
exactly.
Give
Yeah.
them a minute, you get used to them, they get comfortable with you, and then eventually, if you have a relationship, a friendship, a
Hmm.
business relationship, a professional relationship of any sort, eventually you'll find out everything,
Sure,
right?
sure. Yeah.
So, also asking women, do you have children, is is
Yeah, it's too
not
personal,
not
isn't it?
appropriate. It's not
Yeah,
appropriate. So the rule is try to refrain, try to stop yourself from asking anything that's too personal. So try to keep it generic, impersonal, light. Unless you are romantically interested in them, then go ahead and ask them if they have a boyfriend or girlfriend.
interesting. Right. And then Katerina here says, what type of music do you usually listen to? Oh, I love that question. I like talking about
Mm,
music a lot. So Ellen says, have
same.
you visited the city? So you're talking about special place. Yeah, I do that as well. So if someone asks me if you've lived in other places, I say I have lived in Malaysia. Have you ever been there? So that sometimes opens
Mm,
up a topic. People say, oh,
yeah,
I haven't been there, but I have been this other place. And then
yeah.
traveling.
Travel usually opens up lots of discussions. Do you like to travel? Have you been to Asia? Where in Europe have you traveled?
Sure.
It, because generally, usually, people really enjoy traveling. So
Sure.
it's a good topic to bond over.
Yeah. So good job, guys. You guys have had a lot of questions here. So we're gonna see some
Mm-hmm.
examples here. Maybe some of them are too direct or too personal, but I don't know. Different people have different opinions on them. But what's important here is to look at the correct structure of the questions. Let's
Mm-hmm.
complete the question that we have here. So we have, you married? You have any brother or sister? You have a boyfriend or girlfriend? You have any children? Or who you live with? So, can you complete the questions?
Sure, let's do it together. And you guys can write in and let us know what you think the correct answer is. In the meanwhile,
Mm,
Katharina and Aline have given us two. Katharina says, what cities are you going to visit after the quarantine? And Aline says, what kind of activities do you prefer doing?
mm,
Okay. Are you married? Fantastic. Yes.
very
Good
good.
work.
Yes.
Sonia says, do you like traveling? Beautiful question. Good work, guys. Valdemir says, do you have any brothers or sisters? Fantastic. Good work.
Sorry. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you have is right.
Fantastic work, guys. You're all doing really well.
Hmm. Great. So, the second and third one, actually, all the rest are really similar. So, do you have a boyfriend, girlfriend? Do you have any children? And what about the last one? Who?
Right. So
So,
remember, this is
again, do you live with? Yes,
exactly
great.
because this
So,
is the question about the present tense, about the present situation. So it's a simple present question. Who do you live with?
exactly. So, another thing to observe here is the first question takes a verb to be because your main verb is the verb to be
Mm,
married. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But all the other ones have other verbs. You have, you have live. So in this case, you use do.
Mm.
Okay. So let's try job and study. What you do? I'm almost giving the answer. What you do? You enjoy your job. When you start working there. So now there's a mixture of present and past.
Mm. So Katharina has given us the first answer. What do you
Very
do?
good.
Fantastic. Simple way of asking, what do you do for a living? The short form is, what do you do? Do you study? Do you work? Good
Yeah.
work, Aline. Okay. Good work, Vladimir.
So the last question is about the past. So you
Mm.
started working in the past. So what's the past of do?
Okay, good work, Katharina. Yes. Do you enjoy your job? Perfect.
Hmm.
Good. Fantastic work, guys. No issues. You're nailing it. Last one. When
So
or
did
did
is the
you
last one. Very
start?
good, Sonia. So when did you start working there? Great job.
Great.
So in the last 4 minutes we have, we're going to talk about just a few more questions here about city or
Hmm.
home. So where, I think we have talked about the first one, so I'm just going to give the first one. Where do you live?
Yes,
And where? Try the second one because I think it could be tricky for some
yeah,
students.
absolutely.
As a hint, the infinitive verb is to be born.
Mm.
So what's the question?
And remember, you were born in the past, so
Hmm, exactly. And also try the last one. You like traveling there.
living.
And
Do
that's
you
also
like?
about the past. And the
Mm-hmm.
verb is live. Okay. Well, I'm really enjoying your participation today, guys. Like, there are many of you, and you're doing very well.
Yep,
Oh, great.
Angela,
Well done. Where were you born? Perfect.
fantastic
A little
work.
note on pronunciation as well. So the
Mm.
first word, the question word is where, and the
Mm-hmm.
verb to be is were. Where were you
Mm.
born?
Yep,
This is
that's
like,
a little difficult. Where were you? Remember that. And last one, do you like living there? Fantastic.
okay, great. Oh, right. Yeah. I was thinking about did you like, I don't know why I was thinking
I
that.
think that should be correct as well, actually. Do you like living there? And did you like living there? So again,
Yeah,
this depends on context. It depends which
exactly. It depends on
place.
context. That's true. Okay. So we have just about a little bit of time to talk about a few more phrases that might be useful.
Mm-hmm.
Um, So when you're answering to some questions where you have something in common or something different among yourselves, we use this expression. So me too is obviously used for something that you have in common. So if
Mm-hmm.
so, for example, Michelle says, "I like I like the color red," and I would say, "Me too." It's something similar. Neither is used for something similar but in the negative form. For example, if Michelle says, "I don't like," what is something you don't like, Michelle?
Mm. I don't like bland food.
Me neither. I don't like bland food either. But instead of repeating everything, we say me neither. Okay.
Yeah. When you share the experience, but neither of you have had the experience.
Yeah. No way. When do we say no way, Michelle?
When something is definitely not going to happen, you strongly disagree. For
Yeah.
example, do you think Milan will open tomorrow? So
No
Anika
way.
would say, no way, right? Definitely not.
Are you crazy? Yeah. So I can't believe it. When do you say that?
When you can't believe something. But I think Italians have a similar phrase in Italian, so I think they understand this really well. Because I
Okay.
often hear it.
Yeah, I can't believe it. Or really is
Yeah,
also used for when you're very surprised about
right. When
something.
you want to make sure about something, so
Yeah,
you ask again. Really? Are you
yeah,
serious?
yeah, exactly. So very
Okay.
nice expressions for keeping the conversation going with a new
Mhm.
person. Well done, you guys. I think
Mhm.
it's time to wrap up. So Michelle, do you want to wrap it up?
Thank you for so much. Thank you so much for joining us and participating. Your participation makes all the difference. This was a lovely class, and I'm so happy so many of you were here. Apologies for the tech issues, but we hope to see you soon.
Yeah, see you
Have a
guys
good,
later.
yeah, have a good evening, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.